Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, OCD, has been normalized by those who simply prefer organization. Someone who for 16 years similarly misunderstood her own illness, Emily Esterly writes to draw awareness to the ugly truths that she faces daily.
So hi, Emily.
Hi.
I'm so glad that you're able to talk to me. I want to ask you what you think OCD is.
So OCD is an anxiety disorder. Your brain makes you think there's danger in some form, and then it tells you that by doing this thing, you'll be safe. I've had OCD my whole life. We've tracked back things from when I was 5 that we've now recognized and identified as OCD. At that point, I had no idea what it was. I didn't know it had a name, which is one of the scariest parts, is not knowing it has a name. Stuff would come up, I would just think to myself, this is just how I think. I just think a little bit differently than everybody else. Or maybe everybody else does think this way and nobody talks about it.
Not everybody, but 2.2 million adults in the US alone face the intrusive thoughts of OCD.
With my OCD, everything's mental, everything's in my brain, everything's thought-based. But, even talking to, even thinking about it, right now I have anxiety. I can't think a bad thought, I can't say a bad thought, I can't hear a bad thought. It's just this huge web of all these things. My brain just says, nope, that's bad. It's a lot easier to do something that's going to take away that anxiety than to deal with it, even though dealing with it is actually going to make you better.
Perhaps you've heard of people obsessively cleaning their hands because they fear germs. What do you do when you fear your own thoughts? Emily clears her head, counteracting bad thoughts with a good one. She gave an example using a white sneaker as the bad thought.
A sneaker of every other color, and then I have to think of boots, and then maybe socks.
Maybe you think, what's the harm? She can still function normally, she just has to think a few odd thoughts now and again. The obsessions are only one part of it. It's the compulsions that complete the nasty puzzle.
My head, my face, I had bruises on my nose, there was a time where I was rubbing my face on stuff, so my eyes got all swollen. I was told it's discomfort. I like to argue that it's pain. What you think and how you feel inside your head is no different from what you feel on your skin or in your stomach. It really started being a part of who I am a year ago when I lost the ability to go to school, I lost the ability to talk to people. I couldn't shower, I couldn't eat.
Not only was her outside life restricted, OCD had manifested itself in her own home. Emily took me on a quick tour of the places deemed off-limits within her house.
I get a little bit of anxiety just being in this general area. Right now, I can go through the front door, I can touch the front door, but I can't touch the handle with my hands. I would use my sleeve or something around me. This is my mom's salon room, I can't touch anything in there. I even get anxious if my mom goes in there, I get anxious around her. Can't go in this bathroom, can't use that bathroom. And then this is my brother's room. I can go in there, but there's certain things in there that I can touch.
Finding success stories to be somewhat discouraging to someone still suffering, she sent an account of her incomplete journey to the International OCD Foundation. It was published on iocdf.org on July 10, 2018.
I thought it was important for me that I wrote about it and expressed myself at a time when I wasn't at the finish line. The people reading it are most likely still suffering. Whether they be suffering themselves with OCD or they be suffering with somebody else who has OCD, nobody's going to understand it. They can't understand it. You don't even understand it. It's your brain, and it took you 16 years to even know it had a name. You can't expect everybody else to be there with you and feel what you're feeling and understand what it is. I want to talk about it. I want to spread awareness and help people understand, but I also don't really want to be in your face about it.
So how does she do her part to subtly help others understand? What she calls quotes. Emily posts original thoughts to her Instagram story and leaves them to the interpretation of her followers.
Those 300 people would all read the same words, but they'd all think something differently. They'd connect it to something in their life, or they'd interpret it a different way. It's just as important to me. People would say that it helped them. It would have helped them for a completely different reason than it was to me. I might write a quote about OCD, and they would interpret it and apply it to something in their life about a relationship or about losing someone. Not everyone has OCD. That led to writing about stuff like relationships and friendships and family and life in general. All the support I've gotten this past year is more than I could ever even ask for from anyone.